just like what Queen Nadia said to us, at the opening of today's class, that, how we form our identity. So, and that will lead me to another question. As you know, is our tradition in the class. It's always interactive. So, Sister Oluchi, I didn't forget. Please kindly contribute. Tell us, what is your take on how do we come about the formation of our identity as humans? Yes.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Okay.
Yes, go ahead.
How we come about the formation of our identity.
Yes.
Okay. First of all, going with the biological identity, I think first of all, we have one we are born with. Is the biological identity, and then we have the other one that we form as we interact with our environment. That's the one that is just external, not the one that is inside of us. So I think our identity, two things influences it. What's the one we are born with, and then the external factors, our environment, our culture, our individuality influences our identities as well. That's my little contribution.
Oh, that was not little. That was very profound contribution. I really appreciate your contribution. You said something about the identity we are born with. Yeah. And it's quite interesting, your contribution, Sister Oluchi. I was telling the Queen yesterday, I just finished marking some coursework at both university here in London, where I lecture. So it was a topic on identity, and exactly what you just said. Yeah, one of the questions the student work was based on what is the biological and social processes influencing sex and gender, which was a quite interesting topic, because we come to the realization that gender is a social construction, whereby sex is a biological base. That is, you don't choose your sex, it's a biological influence determined. Yeah. However, you can choose your gender. What do you think?
Is that a question for me?
Yes, because an interesting question. I want to know your view, across the Africa continent, because
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, talking about not choosing our sex and then choosing
our
gender.
Yeah.
Okay. Wouldn't choosing our gender be seen as biological as well? Because if I'm to say, if someone in our place, let me use that, if a child or a male child, a female child is born, we know he's a boy or she's a girl, but then the person is growing up to now start exhibiting some other behaviors that is now portraying the other sex. A boy is now acting like a girl, and then the girl is acting like a boy. So I do not know if it is us choosing. To me, if the person is actually choosing that gender, I am thinking it's biological too.
Oh, that's quite interesting. Please, can you explain that? I would love to mark your question.
I'm thinking the person was actually born with it. In as much as we are seeing the physical sex, male, female, but inside that person, the person doesn't really feel like a boy, or she does not feel like a girl. So I don't know.
I mean, it's quite interesting what you said. That's another line of argument, to argue that gender is also a biologically influenced, so it's a quite interesting, it's a piece of work that I would love to read your article on that. That was very interesting. Okay, yes, Brother Derek, you put something on the chat. I mean, thank you, Stalucci, for that input. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Brother Derek said, can names affect individuals' behavior when their two names are not in harmony? Okay, who is going to answer this question for us? I think Brother Derek is coming from a different philosophy regarding the power of a name. Yes. Queen Nadia, do you want to help us with that? Brother Derek asked a question about can names...
Can you please repeat to me the question, please?
Yes, ma'am. He said, can names affect individuals' behavior when their two names are not in harmony? Okay, that's quite interesting.
Yeah, this is very, very, very interesting. First of all, of course, your name is part of your identity.
Yeah.
Yes. Not only your biological identity, but also your spiritual identity, because every name, every letter has a sound, and every sound has identity, a frequency. When there's a frequency, there's existence. Okay. Of course, when two names are not in harmony, let's say we are also in a world of duality and polarity, where everything is in balance with its opposite. So there's not really the harmony that you can see, is just a disbalance. And let's say, how we said, in terms of vibration, let's say that they are not vibrating in the same frequency together. This is what because there's no harmony. But definitely your name, of course, your name is part of your identity. You have to find this harmony within you. And who knows, we said that God gave us the free will.
Yeah.
What if we are the one who have chosen our name, because this name was given to us in harmony, or regarding our vibration and what we represent, you understand? And what we have to live. So we don't really know. It has to be proven. Of course, we know, spiritual people know, but the others need to understand it. That maybe you have chosen your name, you have chosen your date of birth and the date of your depart, because since the beginning, you got the free will. The free will is unlimited. Wow. Because you are a spirit.
That's very deep, Your Royal Highness. You've started us on a deep end, so we might as well, dive into the deep with you in that regard. So, Brother Eric, there's a school of what and the energy. Oh, Brother Eric seems to have some beautiful questions tonight, which is quite interesting. He said, how can a name connect with higher self and the energy? Yeah. So your question, yes, Your Highness, you want to...
this question is for me.
Yes,
okay.
That's quite interesting.
Just want to tell you one thing.
Yes, please.
Brother Derek, your name is part of your identity here in this physical reality. It has nothing to do with your higher self. Because when you arrive, when you start to develop, make the personal development, and you rise up and you arrive at a certain level, you are just losing your physical and material identity. So this name of Derek, this is going with the body of Derek. It is part of individual consciousness. But when you are touching the higher self, You are part of the universal consciousness.
Yes.
You are no more part of this identity. So you are losing, like a drop become an ocean. When you are the ocean, you are no more. It's like you are a drop, but you are called ocean. So the higher self has no name, has no identity.
Yes.
It's interpersonal, you know, it's above everything.
Yes. It's transpersonal, it's transcendence, you know.
It's yes.
It goes beyond.
Yeah. And if you want to touch your higher self, you have to forget your name and your physical identity.
Wow, that's so profound. Thank you so much, Queen Nadia. And that sets the stage for today's class, that we are looking at the biological identity and our spiritual identity. And in many cultures, there are many belief systems in many cultures, you know, about the power of the name. For example, the Jewish culture, you know, in the Torah from Judaism, believes that name are self-fulfilling prophecy, you know. So names has meaning, and the belief from that philosophy is that whatever you name something, you know, controls the way they behave, you know, because they are frequency. So when people, for example, when people call your name, you know, they are re-emphasizing the energy behind that name. But the beautiful thing is that the question again by Brother Derek is that the higher self and the energy regarding, and Queen Nadia said it beautifully just now, that by the time you begin to develop your transpersonal identity, you transcend the limitation of your physical identity. And that's the key word there, that you have the potential through developing your spiritual self, which is your transpersonal identity, to eliminate every limitations in your biological identity, you know. And if you have been given a name that you felt and you believe is affecting your performance in life, there is hope for you. You are not at the mercy of your biological identity. That is the message tonight. You are not limited, you are not destined, you know, to the ritualistic or to the reductionist aspect of your biological identity, which involve the name, you know, it involves the name, you know. So that is what we're looking at tonight, that you have the ability by developing your spiritual self to transcend the limitations of whatever name. Maybe you are here tonight, people call you different names, you know, and you don't like it, and you felt that, oh, because of the name is affecting my life. Yes, you are not limited by that. And that is what we are teaching tonight, that there is a biological identity and there is a spiritual identity. And why this is important, you know, a few hours ago, I was having a discussion with our Royal Highness, and we're talking about the limitations of when we leave education just by the intellect, you know. It's so sad in a country where I live, which I'm privileged to be a citizen of the United Kingdom. We have the highest rate of undergraduate suicide, and it is known as the suicide capital of Europe. And I was saying that to the Queen, that, you know, there's a problem here. You know, what kind of education system that we have, that we see graduates that are expected to contribute their quota to the development of the economy end up being depressed and suicidal. And the argument is because people live in their biological identity. They all exist within their biological identity. And in that realm, in that domain, it is very limiting. If all your life you live by the sensations of your body, through your eyes, the nose, the ear, you navigate your life based on your physical identity, it's a limited life. It leads to hopelessness, despondency. And these are the foundation for depression. because you cannot see yourself beyond your biological self. And that is what we're exploring tonight, that there is a self that transcends your biological existence. And that is your spiritual self. And that is your real self. You may have picked some identity, which is part of your growing up, in your environment, just like what Sister Oluchi said. You are born with a certain biological identity, maybe your sex. You may pick a gender that you want. Now, one of the dominant philosophy is that gender is a social construction, but it's still an identity. So people have gender as identity, and there is also cultural identity, there is religious identity, so all these identities are categorized under the umbrella of biological identity. So people have ethnic identity, tribal identity, national identity, religious identity, professional identity. So you can see there is multiple identity within the biological identity. But all these identity exist within the natural side of reality. And the sad thing is that majority of humanity, they place their value on biological identity. And when those values become threatening, then people lose their sense of self-worth. Example of that in biological identity, when people identify themselves with their bank account, with their job, you meet people, what do you do? Oh, I'm this, I'm that. Yeah, fine. That's what you are. That is your physical identity. But who are you? Who are you? When you meet people and say, who are you? Oh, I'm a lawyer. I'm a doctor. No, that's what you do. That's your professional identity. But who are you? Or who do you think you are? And that's the question tonight. Have you found your real identity? Or you're hiding under the umbrella of these biological identities, which is multiple? So these are, and if you live all your life based on your biological identity, you are destined for trouble because it will fail. The pandemic is a good example. You saw what happened. Stock market. All these are physical identity that people attach their value to that. Their value to the account number, their value to their profession, their value to their business. No, you are not your business. That's what to do. Your real identity is not in your bank account. Your real identity is not in your title. Because those things didn't bring value. They are subject to change because they remain in the realm of the physical. Anything within the physical identity is subject to change and it's not reliable. So if someone lives their life, all their life, just based on that dimension of the identity, that's why we have the trouble today that we have with humanity. The trouble with humanity has to do that majority of humanity lives only in the biological identity. So people relate with people, national identity, ethnic identity. And I've seen this in my work of over 20 years, as a priest, and people, the moment they see someone that speaks their language, they are more loyal. And many times people have sacrificed real, true relationship on the altar of sentiment, just based on ethnic identity, tribal identity, because somebody speaks my language, is from my town. So and it's so sad. And if you look at the division and the troubles that we have today in the world today, is because humanity is living based on divide within the biological identity. That is the problem we find ourselves in humanity. And it's so beautiful when Queen Nadia answered that question with that when you come to your higher self, which is your spiritual identity, there is no divide. Because spirit has no gender. I say it again. Spirit has no gender. So in transpersonal identity, there is no division. There is no racial division. There is no gender division, because we are all part of the same element, the universal consciousness. Imagine if we are able to put this curriculum across every school. Just imagine the problem of depression and suicide that we'll be able to solve. If you can teach this principle, that you are not your physical body, you are more than your physical body. If you can teach this principle of biological identity and spiritual identity as part of our curriculum. But I got good news for you, that, based on the support of our Royal Highness and His Royal Majesty, King Silver Kid Jr. and Kunadia, we were launching, which already we have a university that is already established to train teachers around the world on how to implement transpersonal education philosophy, because we strongly believe that this is the solution. The war we are fighting today in humanity is a war of identity, which is based on egocentrism. Biological identity. When you base your life on biological identity, on the physical identity, it leads to egocentrism. People become egotistical in their behavior. Color identity. Because when you look at the subject of racism, is within biological identity. When the human population has been classified by the color of their skin. However, if you come to the domain of spiritual identity, there is no color, because we are all part of the universal consciousness. I will use the quotation from Kunadia. We are element of God in God. Quote and unquote to Kunadia Hariri. We are all element of God in God. That is our true spiritual identity. In that dimension of identity, there is no man or woman, there is no gender. We embrace our universal consciousness, our spiritual identity. I relate with you based on your spiritual identity. I don't see color when I move within transpersonal identity, because spirit has no gender, spirit has no color. What a beautiful world will it be if we all embrace this knowledge of our spiritual identity. We can see beyond racial divide. We can see beyond tribal and ethnic sentiment. We can see beyond all the fight. I believe that if humanity will embrace transpersonal identity, there will be peace in this world. Because you begin to relate with your brother as element of God in God. We are part of the same source. The same element is in you, is in me, called the spirit self, that has its origin to the ultimate reality, which many traditions call God. And this is what we believe in transpersonal philosophy. And I strongly believe that the solution to identity crisis that the world has found itself lies in transpersonal identity, in the embrace of transpersonal education. And this is what I believe all of you that are present today to embrace this philosophy and become agent of change in the environment, to look beyond color, to see your neighbor as part of you. Me and you, we are part of the same element, the element called spirit. We are spirit trying to create a physical experience. And that is the central philosophy of transpersonal psychology. We don't see color in transpersonal identity. We don't see gender. You are the same from the same source. In transpersonal identity, there is no religious divide because we are belonging to the same source. Look at the trouble we have today in the world because of religion and identity. You know, every religion is claiming to have the superior knowledge, and we find ourselves in this trouble today, to the extent that people are killing in the name of God, causing death. They want to impose. You know, so the solution today is embracing our transpersonal identity, embracing our spiritual identity, to see that we are all of the same substance, which is the spirit in you and in me. We are spirits trying to have a physical experience. I'm going to pause and take questions. Any question? Yes. Hello. Brother Emmanuel, question, contribution? And for our brothers and sisters that have joined us today for the first time, you are all welcome to this class. If today is your first time, please, you are more than welcome to ask questions or to contribute to the discussion, please. So I'll leave the floor open for contribution and question. Yeah. Wow.
Yes, I will intervene for a contribution.
Yeah, because it was so silent. I was like, what happened? It was too silent, too silent.
This is why I will intervene.
Go ahead.
You know, you are right, Brother Femi.
Yes.
This world has a problem of identity.
Yes, ma'am.
We can see it in the problem of mental health that we are facing today. Some people are in troubles and they are not enjoying their life because of the poverty or the financial trouble. And the other side, you have wealthy people who are committing suicide. So you say to yourself, what's wrong? If the money was the answer to everything, so why the people who are wealthy are just suicide? There's a problem.
Yes.
Okay, and that it's a problem of identity, because no one was teaching us who we are really. They all put us in competition in this world. Do the study or do your work, find money to feed yourself, to feed your family and all that. We are all in competition. Some of them are saying, with my pride, my identity is my culture. But this culture brought you nowhere. You know, what kind of culture do you have when the children, the girl child, are married at age 8, or the child at 7 years old is going in labor for you? You know, that's because we have not been told the truth of who we are and what we are capable to do. So this is why we have developed a sort of ego, you know, because we feel in competition with the other when the other is our complement, is part of us.
Yes.
You know, it's like we are living in a united world in its divided and exploded version. You know, like a giant puzzle, infinite giant puzzle of moving pieces. But we are all completing this giant puzzle, and we are not aware of that. We think that we are like the president of the country, so I am the president of the country. But before, you are a spirit, just like me, guy. You know? So you are not superior to me. Yes. Because superiority is an illusion of the mind. And this ego, we have created it. We have cultivated the pride of the ego. Yes. What do we have? Result, we are stuck. We are stuck in our past because of our thought, and we are lost in our future because we just imagine how the future can be. In reality, we are never in our present. When you are in your present, you affirm your existence as a spirit, no more as this individuality. Of course, the body is necessary because thanks to your body, you have the possibility to work in this life, to work in this world. But when you focus and find yourself and find your real identity with no gender, no color, no religion, no anything, that you think that you are just life and life has to be. There's a big difference between existing and being. There's a big difference between the appearance and what you are. And transpersonal psychology will help all of us, all of you, to find who you are and what you want to be. Because at the minute you find who you are, you will become the best expression of yourself. Because you are born with the talent and specific talent. You have no more this anger. You have no more to be selfish. You are no more in competition because you are happy. And the target of this life is to be happy. You will feel the other like, you will see the success of others like your own success. Yes. This is what transpersonal psychology will reveal. Transpersonal psychology will reveal the real you. The real you. This is very important. So this is why I know that a lot of people, they are stuck in poverty. But let me tell you one thing. You are stuck in this poverty because you are cultivating poverty. Get out from this physical world because you think that you are in the world. In reality, the world is within you. Most of the people will say, I believe what I see. Let me tell you that you see only what you believe. You are not, yes, you see what you believe. So people who say, I believe only what I see, they are already condemning themselves, because you have to realize that you see only what you believe. Your feeling, your emotion, your thoughts are creative. So you have to control your words, your thought, your emotion, because they have a vibration, and we are in a world of vibration. You need to understand that life is vibration. And I want to tell you the good news of that. The good news of this vibrating world. The good news is that all what is vibrating has the power to transform. So you are in transformation and evolution. So this is part of your real identity. You have just to focus on who you are and feel life and this energy of who you are in this body, controlling this body and this matter, because the matter doesn't exist without you.
Absolutely. Wow. Thank you so much, Your Royal Highness. That was very profound, I put something on the chart there about transpersonal, definition of transpersonal for those of you that are joining our class today for the first time. So when the Queen was talking about transpersonal psychology, the word transpersonal has been defined as experiences in which the sense of identity or self extend beyond, but it's trans, the individual or the personal, to encompass wider aspect of humankind, life, psyche, and cosmos. You can see that the key word there is your sense of identity, and that is what we're talking about transpersonal. That the sense of identity is beyond your biological existence. It transcends your personality, which is under your biological identity. And it's so interesting. That the world is in crisis today, just like what Nadia just said. And the problem is we're suffering from crisis. Humanity is suffering from crisis of identity, and which because we live within the biological identity, which is just our physical reality, and that can be very limiting. That can be very, people are resigned. They just resign to that. You see a lot of people, because they cannot see beyond the physical limitations. They cannot see beyond the self, the embodied self. They can't see beyond that, and that is all what they've been taught, as what Nadia said. So, like I was sharing with the Queen before the class, we need a revolution in our curriculum, and I said to Queen, and we are very grateful to His Royal Her Majesty and Kunadia for this great opportunity to start this university, whereby we are going to be teaching this transpersonal education. We are going to be training teachers to because we need to start with the teachers. I'm a consultant in teacher training here in the UK, so I look at the curriculum. There's nothing in that curriculum about transpersonal education. Nothing, your Highness, nothing there. So we have teachers themselves that they don't even know their true identity. So it's like the blind, leading the blind. With very respect. So, and how can humanity come out of this crisis of identity? Whereby we have all this competition, envy, jealousy, people. No, if you understand that your true self, you transcend the embodied self, that you exist beyond time and space, you are not, your perception of reality is going to change. And how people, take hold of material possession. They cling on to things in the material as if it's their life. And once that thing loses the value, then they lose their sense of what? And that is the beginning of depression. They can't see beyond that. We have millionaires committing suicide, athletes, popular people committing suicide, talented people committing suicide. So you begin to look at this issue. Why, for the people that are in the third world, that they felt that thing because of their material lack of things, they believe, oh, if I have this money, if I get this job, if I live abroad, if I go to this place, my life will be better. And then you see people living in the so-called first world, and they are suffering from suicide. They are suffering from depression. Then you begin to question humanity itself, that the people in plenty are dying, the people in poverty are dying. So what is the solution? What is the problem? It's a crisis of identity, because people are not fulfilled. There's no sense of meaning to life. You cannot find meaning to your life if you live your life in your biological identity. No, you can't find the true meaning, values, And this is what our philosophy at Edinburgh London University, this is what we're teaching. We believe, because of our experience, I've seen it, I'm privileged to have worked in this country, in the UK, as a consultant in teacher training. I've seen things. I've taught in secondary school. I'm teaching currently in the university. I've seen our curriculum is faulty. The philosophy is wrong. They don't teach about self-identity. No, they don't. It's not in the curriculum. And that's a major problem. It's a major problem. And look at the kind of graduate we are producing today. People are depressed, crises. They can't see beyond the pandemic. Look at what pandemic has brought to us now. It has redefined our sense of self. You know, people died. You see that. Death. How do we prepare for death? How do we prepare for people in the end of life care? How do we prepare for them? You know, all these questions about life. And they begin to question that. People begin to question, what is life itself? What is reality? What really counts in this life? You know, I want to leave you with this kind of question to reflect on your values. Do you celebrate your physical identity? You know, I'm this, I'm that, I've achieved this. Is that real meaning of life? Can you find your true self in the things you possess? I'll quote this Pauline epistle, which is apostle in the Christian doctrine. He said something. He said, a man's life does not consist in the abundance of things he possesses. I love that philosophy. That having plenty material things does not make a life. We see that today. So then the question is, what is true life? It can only be found in your transpersonal identity, which is your spiritual identity. That's where you find your peace. That's where you find meaning to life itself, purpose to life. Why do you wake up in the morning? Why do you exist? These are questions that can only be answered through your spiritual identity. There is no biological identity that can give that answer. You have to transcend the limitation of your physical existence to tap into the higher self and the knowledge from the divine for you to know your true purpose. Why are you here? Why do you exist? These are questions about identity. You are here, sent by a higher power to solve a problem for humanity. You are a solution, not a problem. You must find the solution within you, and that can only be found in your transpersonal identity. Okay, I rest my case. Any question? As we come towards the end of this class. Yes.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir. Ambassador Neuma. Thank you, sir.
It's my first time to participate in this course, and I say that what you are talking now it's very powerful.
Thank you.
And I think that identity is the power of human. And I think that everyone must know why he's there. Because I know, because for example, I am Niembo. My name is Niembo. My family name is Niembo, and I know that Niembo means king. And as if you have this name, you must be powerful. You must be powerful. You must be helpful, and you must be what again? Careful. You know. And sometimes I tell to my sisters and my brothers that don't play with the name of our father and the name of our great father, because it's our identity. And sometimes when I work and when I walk, I say, I'm a Niembo, I'm a king, I'm powerful. And my name helped me when I'm sad. I'm sad, please, sorry. I'm sad. When I surrender, and when I think about the powerful of my name, I recover. You know, and while you are talking about the powerful of name, I remind what I do sometime when I'm sad, when I'm sick. My name helped me too much. Yeah. When I saw what my grandfather told to me sometime, because when I was in the village for some vacancies and some touristic trip, he told sometimes you are Nyembo, you are Nyembo, you are Nyembo, you are Nyembo. And when he give to me the explanation of the Nyembo definition, I saw that I'm a king. I saw that I'm helpful. I saw that I'm that it's for me a great honor to have this name, and my name helped me so much, and I'm so happy to hear what you are teach today about the identity of name, of the personal identity. It's very, very great, very, very great, and I'm so happy to be there today. And I think sometime I will be present in the course. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ambassador. That was good to hear you.
And I'm sorry because my English is not very.
Don't worry, Ambassador. We are not born with English. We learn it.
I speak English step by step, but I try sometimes to speak English.
Wait, Ambassador. We can hear you clearly. Yeah. We can hear you clearly. Thank you so much for coming. Yes. Any other person that you want to contribute or share experience, please? You are more than welcome to do that, please. Especially those of us that are joining us for the first time, please. You can give us feedback, your experience regarding the topic. Yeah. I think we have another 10 minutes before I will share the slide and I will share the question of the day. Yeah.
We have with us a very interesting personality with whom I am in interview tomorrow. It's Professor Roshana. So I would love to hear Professor Roshana in here.
Thank you, Your Highness. It is just like I was just listening from quite a long time, and I could really just get associated with what Sir was speaking, and really loving the session. I just enjoyed, and of course, personality right now counts a lot, because it is your personality in which you bring around a change in the whole world. It's that with which you can influence, in which you can put people into that situation and where they start thinking. If your personality is such, you cannot change something which you want to bring around. The change is possible only with your personality. Personality is, of course, influenced by the traditional beliefs, as already Sir said just now, that with our culture, the traditions, it influences a lot. But somewhere individuality is also there hidden. It is like we have a lot of unique skills. We all have the unique skills, but it is like investigating in the personality development. It makes us, focus on our personality. And to be a charismatic person, we always need to develop the inner self as much as the outer self. Outer self becomes secondary. The inner self is of prime importance. So if we are developed from inside, I feel that we become a person inside out. And whatever we say, it brings about a revolutionary change in the listener's mind. We don't have to speak much. Probably a word can bring that change. Probably just a sentence can bring the change which we are looking out for. It is not necessary to coordinate or just keep on correlating and giving plenty of examples, but just a single sentence, a word, because your personality has impacted that person. Like as you already said, that when we are in front of the public, when we are facing a small audience or a bigger public, whichever group of people we are facing, we just need to know what our audience has come here for. What does the public want? And accordingly, if we just address them with one word, it just glues them to your contact, and hence our communication becomes more with such impression.
Good.
So that's how we can develop. We know that there is no substitute for hard work when it comes to the development of the personality. And we need to understand it better, as you already said. We need to develop the personality, make a plan, set the goal every day. This is what makes the personality. We need to leave the comfort zone and make the time management, everything, which it's like small things, but it is necessary at every point. I hope I have little bit contributed, because I was today I wanted to be a listener, but just Queen suggested that I should say something, so I thought I was taking a lot of golden nuggets from you, sir, and of course, Ambassador Chris had also said just now few points which I loved listening, and even Queen had said many points which was really I can count on it and use it to better and enhance my personality.
Thank you
So
so much, Professor.
I
Thank you
hope
so
I
much.
have done justice
Yes.
to the question, and that was what I felt about personality, and which is really necessary in our field of work, being an educator, being a social activist. And whenever I go around talking with the mothers, especially I am in touch with all the mothers. We have a small community here,
Okay.
wherein I want to make a change in their mind. So I feel somewhere, I don't know if you agree with me, that it's my personality which will make them think whatever I am saying is actually going to change them. Because otherwise, they are all housewives. They have been the homemakers. And right now, to make them understand that they are the builders of the nation.
Yeah.
That is what I'm trying to do with the mothers, and trying to
Welcome.
make them feel their worth. So if my personality doesn't get, connected with them,
Yeah.
maybe I will not be able to make that impact.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
somehow the personality is in the long run
Mm.
and helping it explore that. Yeah, these are the important things, which is very, very important.
Good.
You have written in the chat box, explore the identity formation, the construction, and the realities. Yes, very true, very true.
Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much.
much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor Rachana. Thank you so much for that beautiful contribution. And you are welcome to the family.
Thank you so much. My pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you. So I'll put the question. Those are the two questions for this week. And for those of you that you are joining us for the first time, every week we'll have a question, and you can send me a draft, just 500 words on these two questions, but it's just a draft. So by the time we finish the course, we're going to give you a list of the questions to be answered for the whole unit, so that once you are able to pass that, you can get your certificate. So this is our question for this week. Number one is explore identity formation through construction, then explore the realities of transpersonal identity. So those are the two questions for this week. Well, they are all practice questions, but they are still coming back at the end of the program. We give you the whole question for the program, and then we expect you to go and write, at minimum level 2 English, which is a secondary school qualification level 2 English. We're not expecting you to write a big grammar, because this is a level 3 qualification. So you do that, and then your work will be marked, and it will be externally quality assured, and you will get your certificate from the accreditation board, the Royal Accreditation Board, accreditation committee board from Hawaii, CORAC. So from the Kingdom of Hawaii, which accredit our courses. So you'll be getting a certificate from that, a level 3 certificate. Okay. So thank you so much for your time. Queen Nadia, over to you for the closing remark of today's class.
Just an amazing class, as you know, and but also our ambassador that I call my son, Chris Niembo, said he is also, just want to say that he's also the president of Successful One Congo. And
Wow.
so he's part of us. So, and of course, Professor Rashana, she is just amazing. And this is why I wanted her to speak. This is important to understand, yes, that we are living in 2 dimensions at the same time, spiritual and material. And we have to find this balance, not to be too much here or too much there. We have to find to be in the middle. Then we are in balance. Then we can see the reality from here and the reality from there. And this is very important. The question that is very interesting when you are in this material life is when you are asking why I am here, what I have to do, what is my mission, well, exactly how to make pride my family. Like Chris said, my name is powerful, how to handle the responsibility of first name and all that. This is your, let's say, your personal life. But when you want to go beyond that, you are asking why I have 5 fingers, why I have 2 legs, 2 eyes, why I have that. The question starts to become completely different. What the science cannot answer, you know, because a lot of people, you know, think that the science is also the answer of everything. Yes, the science will tell you the effect, but science will never tell you the cause of that. Science will never explain you the why of that.
Why?
She will explain you the how. And this is what transpersonal psychology is doing also. Your spirit will find it. If you pay attention to that. I love this classroom about identity. I am really passionate by that, as you know. And yes, and when I say we are an element of God living in God, like the fish are elements of water living in water. So when we understand this sentence, I believe that we will understand that we are all from the same source, all brothers and sisters, and there's no competition between us. We have just to feel the love for one another and develop this relationship and this link, because the water link the fish together, like what the spiritual consciousness linked us together, and this is important. So thank you, Professor Oluwafemi, for this wonderful course. Thank you for everyone who was here with us in our Successful One Academy, the Academy of the People. And don't forget the people who are in exam at the end of that. So don't forget that you have some questions, and at the end you have your exam and your certificate. And certificate recognized.
No, don't worry, it's not exam. You're
recognized by the world.
You're right. Don't scare our students. They are not sitting for exam. They will do it at home. It's a coursework.
Yes, I am sure.
I will give you the question. You will do it at the comfort of your house.
Our brother Noor and all the people who are there But our brother Noor, it's very late there for him, and he cannot miss this classroom.
Yeah, blessing, blessing.
He just want to receive his degree and all that, and we encourage him, and we love him.
Definitely.
And also our brother, our son Derek also.
Yes.
They are Oluchi, all these people, they are just learning. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for all the people, and so thank you.
Thank you so much.
If you have nothing else to add, so if you have nothing else to add, then we can close this course.
Yes.
What do you think, people, our brothers and sisters, our children?
Okay, I have nothing to add. You know, it's you have ended that. Thank you so much for that closing remark, and I will see you in 2 weeks' time. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Have a blessed evening.
Thank you.
Bye.